spas to resort-style pools, no vision is too big. Make your backyard the place to be with Cox Pools. Cox Pools, 65 years strong and still making a splash. Visit coxpools.com or call 850-235-7957.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Mothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sir, yes, ma'am. It's Monday here at the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We made it through the weekend, and Monday is here. We're so glad that you've decided to join us right here in the CBC Construction Studio, right here in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. On a Monday, we're excited about it. You can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Also, don't forget tonight, Monday Night Football, Dallas, the Cowboys, and Las Vegas Raiders starting right after the show. Kickoffs at 7:15. As always on a Monday, we got the Brian Haddad in the building. What's up, Brian?
Howdy, Hal.
Good to see you, my man. And Jeffrey wearing his Hawaiian shirt. All right, Jeffrey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Looks like you got you a haircut over the weekend. That's what I'm talking about.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. And the Bone Crusher in the building. How you doing, Bone Crusher?
All right. How about them dogs? Sorry, Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That is right. The dogs looking really good, and the Falcons not so much. No. So there you go.
Oh, you had to bring that up, didn't you?
Appreciate you. So either way, had a big weekend. Definitely want to talk about some local sports here. We had our 4 teams to go first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately for Bay High on Friday night, I was there watching the game with Coach Brown and those guys. Great season that they had, but Godby was just a little too much for them, and just had some struggles there. Brian, when you look at the way Bay played all year, it was an outstanding year, best year they've had in a long time. Being able to win the county championship of something that most people or most teams haven't been able to do because they haven't played everybody, right. But being able to beat everybody too, that was pretty special. What do you think about this team, this Bay team this year, as you've read and watched and saw what they've been able to do?
Well, you never like to go out in the first round, especially when you got a home game, and it's hard not to let that sour what, like you said, was a great year. It really was a great year.
It really
for them.
was.
And they played really well. They just nothing really clicked, for them, in the playoff game, and that want to be hard to stomach for a little while. But when you go back, later on for those seniors looking back at their career, for, juniors and sophomores looking ahead to next year, they can take a lot of positives from this year. I mean, they stepped up when they needed to, other than, kind of one game that, Coach Brown even said he probably just made the wrong decision in the Madison County game. This team would have been undefeated, which, is something that they can't ever take away from you, whether you, lose in the first round or not. So it probably stinks stinks right now, and it's going to be hard to forget that for a couple of weeks. But looking back long term, those guys should be very proud of what they did because they put together a great season. I think it's the first time somebody's beaten everyone in the county in the same year. So, I mean, hats off to them. They did a great job. It's just, to be honest, for most teams, it never ends the way you want.
No, it's bittersweet.
Other than the champion. But yeah, great season for Brown.
Yeah, they had a really good year, and making the playoffs, doing that. And the thing that Coach Brown said on the interview that I had with him at the end of the game was the fact that this team set the legacy to start, or to initially get it rolling, because he's only been there for a few years now, and so with him getting them going, I think they're going to be
They got some good young players on that team, too, so they're going to be ready next year as well.
Yeah, they will be. And then Arnold going over and playing the number one team in the state, St. Augustine. Everybody knew that their back was going to be against the wall, but being able to go down there and, they gave up 70 points, but at the end of the day, they were able to score 21 points on them, which was not supposed to happen. So they were able to move the football and definitely had a good time. Going to have not only Coach Brown, going to have Coach Griffin on, not today, but during this week. And then Bozeman also going down to Pensacola Catholic, a really bad draw there.
Oh, yeah.
And not a very fair draw. It was, and I know things aren't fair, but winning your district and then still having to travel and then playing one of the top teams in the state, not just in the area. So, big deal.
I mean, they got to make sure max prep seems important.
That's right. That's true. So all three of those going down. Obviously, we talked about on Friday, Mosley moving on. They've got Mainland at Mainland. So that one's going to be a barn burner. I think it's going to be a good one. Yeah. How far away is that?
I think it's Daytona. It's going to be about 6 hours?
About six away. Okay. Yeah. So we're probably going to have.
Well, no, actually, that's 5. Oh, no, it's St. Augustine I'm thinking of. Yeah. St. Augustine's like 55 minutes south of Jacksonville.
I mean, if you figure Orlando's 5.5, it's probably another half hour on.
Please be careful when you ask Jeff
specific.
What exactly a specific, because he'll say 5.6 or 5 point. Yeah. So either way,
if you drive like a hobby, 1 hour.
1 hour. That's right. So, we'll be talking to Coach Whidden this week as well. So we're going to go to the Red 17's phone line. We've got Rob on the phone. Rob, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm all right, guys. Great start of the show. All the accolades need to go to the local guys that played Friday night. They just, it just goes to show they got a lot of heart. But
yes.
But Jeffrey, this is for you.
Come on,
here we go.
Come on now,
get it,
Jeffrey.
Rob.
This is for you because I just want you. I just got one word that I want you to remember from Friday, and the word is revenge. Do you not remember that word from Friday?
I do. And you know what? Ole Miss got it. Boom, but somebody else didn't.
I had to wait all day for that because somebody else didn't show up for work this morning.
Of course.
Brian, get it.
Well, at least you didn't have to leave flowers for him this time.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
The revenge thing I did talk about, but to be honest with you, the one who got spoiled on this one was Bama.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't get the revenge, but neither did Texas either, because they're 0-3 against Georgia now, and they're the ones that are keeping the Longhorns in check in this conference.
Well, I was just talking about the revenge because Paul did kind of towards the end of the show when we had the Gator guy on there was just on and on and on about revenge. So.
That is true. Rob, you got me. We're definitely going to be discussing it after about 4:40 today is when we're going to dive into that deal, and it's going to be tough.
I just couldn't call in later, so that's why I had to call first.
Well, I'm glad you called in because it works. It works both ways. So just I keep receipts.
Well, I understand. Hey, it's been a long time since I could say anything. I take a bunch of rhythm because I'm a Seminole fan, and I got that. But, if I'd have had your number Saturday night, I'd have texted you like I do James.
Well, I appreciate that. And don't call the station asking for it. We're not giving it to you.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, Rob. Thank you, my friend.
See ya.
So let me tell you what's not out of the realm of possibilities. Alabama gets a 7 seed.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma gets a 10.
Yep.
And they're playing first round in Tuscaloosa on a bounce back game.
It could be 8-9 the same way.
Yeah.
Either way.
I don't think Bama's going to get an 8. I think they're going to be higher. I don't know. I guess they're number 10 right now, huh?
It just depends on in the AP. So we'll see tomorrow night.
Oh, they're 8-10. Oh, the game would be in Norman right now.
If it's an 8-9, it would be in Norman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll see like that. We're gonna go back to the Red 17's phone line. We've got Ed on the phone. What's going on, Ed?
What's going on, y'all?
Hey, buddy. What do you think about that Texas-Georgia game?
Yeah, who's that old boy in your crew that took away my quote-unquote Texas pass?
What's that?
Old boy said last week I get my Texas pass revoked. Georgia.
That is true.
In your face. Sorry. Oh, man. Come in the air.
That is.
Okay, great, good game. I was entertained. You know what? But honestly, if anyone's going to get their Texas pass, quote unquote, revoked, I truly believe it needs to be that Texas DPS officer that elbow checked those 2 Gamecock players midway.
Okay. Now, can I say something about this? Because everybody's jumping on the bandwagon about this, and I'm pretty sure they don't know the whole story and everything. Okay. I work security at the Superdome in New Orleans, and there's certain jobs that people have to keep people in their right area, and people just don't enter the tunnel at will like it's Disney World, and they can just run about the whole park. You know what that trooper's job probably was?
Keep them out of the tunnel.
Keep them out of the tunnel. Y'all clear out. This is a fire hazard. Y'all keep out of here. Y'all can't stay here. Now, what he did wrong was he bumped that kid with his elbow. And you could tell that it was intentional. Yeah. But his job was to keep that area clear and not let unauthorized people in. And even the players can't go running in and out of there like they want, like they're like preschoolers. So the guy got removed from the detail, and you probably know what's going to happen afterwards. Nothing. This guy's going to go back to work today or yesterday, and nothing's going to happen. They did that just for show more than anything. And Stephen A., who's on a national broadcast, was saying, oh, this is outrage and everything. Well, guess what? This is this guy's job. He just took a little more personal bleed for Texas A&M. More than he should have, but you know what? It wasn't a horrible thing. It's his job.
Okay, that's what you do. If somebody's running hot in a moment, you just go home.
Yeah,
you send them home, and that's it. I mean, nothing else needs to happen. Trust me, he's not happy about the way he looked.
Yeah,
he's running hot. You send him home. Yeah. Nothing there was egregious enough to warrant anything else to happen in my mind.
Yeah, but it was a bad look also.
It didn't look good. But
it was also a bad look because South Carolina was handing it to A&M at the time.
Yeah, sure.
And, you know, any kind of major, like, fan and all that, they would be, like, mad at that point. And I'm sure that's probably what that trooper was. He was probably a fan in cop's clothes.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all go. I'll let y'all get back to the show. Thanks for letting me talk to y'all for a few minutes, and y'all enjoy it.
All right, Ed, thank you, man. I appreciate it. You know, that's the big thing about those games like that where everybody is bought in, because it's a great point that you bring up. He's not just working his job. He's working for his team. He probably loves, he probably bleeds in their colors. And, I mean, we've all had those times where we don't want to be filmed doing something where we have allowed ourselves to get a little bit aggravated.
There was nothing so egregious that a firing does anything positive for anybody. Doesn't do anything better for those players, doesn't do anything better for that guy. In fact, if that happens, his family is now, up against it. And I just don't understand this. It's people who have no skin in the game who cry foul that they need to do all this and do all this and do all this. You just want to look like you've seen that something happened just for the sake of something happening. Guy's running hot. You send him home. He's embarrassed, I guarantee you, by what it is. If he's not, and it continues to be a behavioral pattern, then you fire him, because then that's something that's continual. Yeah. In that moment, wasn't great. Send him home, move on.
Yeah, move on. Give them a slap on the wrist, whatever that is. Don't destroy their family. Don't take away their livelihood with their money and all of that kind of stuff. I'm a total 100% with you, because those guys, it wasn't like he knocked him down and gave him a concussion. Those guys take hits. They play in a collision sport, and they're fine. Those guys will be just fine. It wasn't like something that needed to happen. Now, could you imagine, I'm going to date myself here, could you imagine when Bo Jackson ran into the tunnel, if some guy would have bumped Bo Jackson like that back in the day? Bo would have probably gave him one or two.
Well, if he'd have bumped Bo, he'd have fallen down.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. But, you remember Bo Jackson?
Oh, yeah, he ran
a touchdown,
tunnel.
ran straight into the tunnel because he couldn't stop.
It does happen. Look, we've seen it a million times with the troopers, a lot of times the ones going out with coaches.
Yeah.
Especially when fans are rushing the field and all. They're already upset if you've lost, and they're scared about what can happen. And, it gets a little testy at times. Part of that's the job, and part of it is, like I said, you can discipline sometimes without, going to 11, as in Spinal Tap. That's just a bunch of people who signed up for a free service like X and think, oh, now everyone has to listen to my opinion on everything. It's like, no.
He can share his.
Fine.
They'll share their videos and do all that and see what happens.
Did you hear about the story about Bo Jackson's 40-yard run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what that one is?
4.18 apparently.
Yeah. So y'all want to tell it? 'Cause it's a good one.
I can't remember all the details. There was I think it was a Tampa Bay guy who clocked it. And everyone who was there swears to it.
Yeah, they say it's legitimate.
It wasn't the official timing system that they use now and all like that, so they don't, quote, count it as the record.
So then, but then they said, you got to run that again.
And he said no.
He said, open up the back end, because I'm going to run, and when I run and I'm done with it,
I'm leaving.
I'm running out of the tunnel. I'm getting out of here. Yeah, I'm going home, and that's what he did on the second run.
Yep.
Just so you know, there is an official statement. He was relieved of his stadium duties, so he just lost that detail.
For one day, and he might be back. Who knows?
That's fine. And look, even if they said, you're just not going to work any more games this year, okay, that's fine too. But I mean, people going out there, you need to set an example and fire this guy. Do we really need one less cop?
Oh, my God,
No.
Yeah, no.
So I just, let a person learn from their mistakes. If you get continual pattern of bad behavior, that's
a different
fireable.
story. Yeah. That's a definite different story. Hey, want to make one more quick mention about Mosley when we're talking about them. That is 5.5 hours trip, just so you know. That's the technical.
And you're losing
5.5, so there you go. But they also are needing donations. That's an expensive trip. They were not looking, obviously they were looking forward to going to the playoffs, but if you want to go and donate to the Mosley football program, you can go give, I'm sure, checks to the office at Mosley High School. If you're on the beach side and you want to donate and you want to come run it by the station, we'll take care of that for them as well. Yeah. We'll make sure it gets in the right hands.
Make sure you designate it's for Mosley football.
Yes, make sure that, let's don't do cash, let's do checks, and you can make it out to, just Mosley football.
Yeah, don't give to the cheerleaders because, I'm joking.
Wow. Okay. Well,
let me describe what Jeff looks like for the mob that's going to be outside the door.
Yeah. And, I'm sure that they're watching on Facebook. So I've been here lately.
I don't want to catch any strays.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Hey, look, we get more call-ins when I'm the culprit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's why I use it with my tag for the Red 17's phone line. If you don't like what Jeff said today.
Exactly.
And so a lot of people, I've been stopped out in the public, and some of the people
Why you got that guy?
Some of the people ask me that Jeff guy, he's something else, isn't he? And I don't know whether to take that in. He is. He's a really nice guy, or he's something else, that guy. But either way, hopefully Mosley can pull this one out.
Yeah.
This would be a really good next step for them, taking it to them, and Mainland's it's gonna be a tall task, obviously, but
so it's a 2 seed. Mainland's a
2 versus 3 here.
Yeah,
so
that's a good one.
So that's going to be a good one, and like I said, we're going to have Coach Tommy Joe on, and it should be pretty exciting. But being there at that game, that was pretty. It was crazy because their defense really, the Mosley story of the year has been not that their defense hasn't been good, but their offense have been the story of the year. And to be honest, the offense kind of sputtered and put the defense in some bad situations. But the defense really stepped up, and especially having the football, a minute and 47 to go. And first down, they tried to run the football against Mosley. Mosley stopped them. Second down, they did a small little pass out to the side. They stopped them. And then this is really where it happened right here. The third down, they blitzed the outside backer and the defensive end on the left side. They both got to the backfield, sacked the quarterback for a 6-yard loss. So 3rd and 16-ish. And then so you had 4th down and 16 on their side, on Lincoln's side of the field, and being able to stop them, that was a big stop because they threw a pass for about 14 yards, so they were 2 yards short of getting the first down, and that was able to do it. That game also turned a little bit dirty at the end. Mosley needed to get a first down just so they could get enough time to run off the clock for the victory formation. Ran the football, 2 plays, ran a straight off the tackle and got the first down. And then whenever they did get the first down, they went to the victory formation, and Lincoln's defensive line would not give up.
Yep.
They were just trying to drive through, and then the coach he called timeout with 30 seconds to go, even though the game was already over, and then they tossed him, and then they tossed another defensive player.
It's tough. Emotions are running high. You know your season's about to be over. For some of those guys, maybe the last time they ever put on a helmet, so you get it. I did want to add just a congrats to South Walton, who is advancing on. Now, their reward is Pensacola Catholic, but that was a nice win they had.
That was, you're right.
So
that was a good one. And you know what? It is a game number 2 for South Walton and Pensacola Catholic. Before we take our break, one of the moms did say, indeed, we are watching. So there you go. Is
that a cheerleader mom?
Jeff is the guy in the Hawaii shirt.
Yeah.
Not the good-looking guy over here.
In the red shirt. But anyway, when we come back, we've got Steve Barnes on the phone line. We're going to talk about this Ole Miss football going on this weekend. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone service.
The Red 70 studio line is open.
Demonstrate how to make a call with your dial telephone.
850-215-6290. Are you sick of the old sports talk? The vanilla opinions? The polite debates? The hosts who are afraid to say what they really think? So are we. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is bringing the house. It's the new Sports Blitz.
Weekdays 4 to 6.
We're starting arguments, not conversations. The Sports Blitz.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Monday afternoon. The remainder of the day, mostly clear skies and 77 with a light breeze at 6 miles per hour coming out of the west-southwest. For tonight, clear skies and a low near 60. Tomorrow, wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 75. For Wednesday, mostly sunshine and a high of 75. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
Hey Gator fans, bring your family and friends to Rocket Lanes, home of the Panhandle Gator Club. While you enjoy Gator football watch parties in the sports bar with fellow Gators, your family and friends can enjoy bowling, roller skating, and the many entertaining electronic games. All Gator fans are also welcome to attend the Panhandle Gator Club meetings, 6 p.m. every second Tuesday of the month at the same location. Follow Gator gatherings all year long at panhandlegatorclub.com. Go Gators!
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. On this show, we don't hold back. We react, we dissect, and we tell it like it is. You're locked into the truth. You're locked into the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live and local here in the CBC Construction Studio, pumped up, ready to go, and we have on the phone line our friend from the rebelwalk.com. It is Steve Barnes, as always, on this Monday. Steve, how you doing today, buddy?
All right, man. Before you ask me if Kiffin's going to be in Gainesville next year, let me just say I don't know. I don't know if he knows. But I have pretty much certainty that DJ Lagway will not be in Gainesville next year.
Mm-hmm.
His quote after the game at Oxford, I'm actually going to read it, so I'll make sure I don't paraphrase.
Okay.
I've never played in a stadium that loud in my life. I couldn't hear the headset inside my helmet for 90% of the time. Their 68,000 alumni and diehard fans put our 88,000 Walmart fans to shame.
No.
They also don't wear jean shorts.
Wow.
That sounds like a guy's trying to get out of Gainesville.
Oh, man. That is funny.
Wow.
We talked about that on Friday, just how different the stadiums were and the difference in fans. And so that's pretty comical, Steve.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't write that.
That's right.
I couldn't even make that up. It's like, when I heard him say it, I thought, that kid actually said that?
Yeah.
He wants to go back to Texas.
Well, he may not be in class today.
He might not be in Alachua County today.
That's right. Wow.
Well, there's a bunch of schools that have reached out to him. We found out through a source.
Oh, sure.
And a bunch of SEC schools are really going after him. And so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, they asked Lane Kiffin about DJ Lagway. They asked him about some of the other stuff. So as far as the game goes, obviously Lane Kiffin's the biggest troll on the internet. We got to say it. Him and Knox are probably the 1 and 2, depending on the day. Who would be 1 and who would be 2? We don't know.
It's an inherent talent.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's genetic, clearly.
So obviously we've got breaking news right before the show. Lane Kiffin's family is being flown. They've actually touched down in Baton Rouge to visit the city. So do you have any inside information on that, Steve? Did you know anything about that before or not?
The one, I don't know if it's a problem I have with it. The one little nitpick I have, Oxford High School plays Horn Lake Friday night, and basically the North Mississippi semifinals, so you get to go to the state championship game.
Right.
I find it hard to believe that the starting quarterback of that team would take a day trip to Baton Rouge and not go to football practice. So if they said that Layla went and Landry went, sure, I can understand that. Yeah, no big deal. But they said the entire family went.
Yeah.
I don't think Knox would have gone.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody in Baton Rouge before the show ends will have pictures of them somewhere, somehow, some way online for sure.
Well, let's put it this way: who comes over to play Catholic in Pensacola this week?
South Walton.
South Walton.
Yeah, South Walton. Do you think their quarterback would take the day off today and not go to practice?
No.
Absolutely not.
That's the only problem. Well, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
That's the only dilemma I have with that. But, hey, yeah, you can go, sure. But I think that just sets up Keith Carter more to have to go to Kiffin and say, look, here's the deal. Tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me now so I can go. If you're not going to stay here, let me know now. They're not going to fire him because they don't want to pay the buyout.
Right.
I don't think he'd resign right then. But Keith Carter could reassign him and say, well, all right, for this week and the subsequent weeks, you're now an offensive analyst. And Joe Judge, you're now the interim head coach. Because I don't think he would take Pete Golding away from being full-time defensive coordinator. And I don't think he'd take Charlie Weiss from being full-time offensive coordinator. I think Joe Judge would take the reins to play State, which is really weird. The former New York Giants head coach is a Mississippi State graduate.
Yep.
So his first game would be in Starkville against his alma mater.
Let's go. Bring it on.
But I just think they need some resolution, because I talked to an agent friend of mine last week, and I'm like, what do you think's going on? She said, well, Kiffin's not talking because nobody's talking to Kiffin. They are talking to Jimmy Sexton.
Right.
So all that's going on. And also behind the scenes, I've heard this from the agent, and I heard it from a couple of assistant coaches, that John Summerall would rather go to Ole Miss than Auburn. He coached there. I've talked to him off the record twice when he was at Troy. Once down here, once up in his office. And he's like, man, I wish I could have stayed in Oxford. I love that place. My wife loves that place. That would be so cool. I think he would rather go there, but he's going to get snapped up before Kiffin really wants to make up his own mind. I think Keith Carter has to make it up for him.
Let me ask you this real quick about the assistant coaches. Is it kind of understood that those guys are going to follow Kiffin? Like, is that kind of the mantra in the building, or maybe the way it's going? Because to me, you would look at one of those guys, because obviously Kiffin has done a great job with this team, but you've got former coaches, former really good coaches on that staff. And, if they were wanting to do what you're talking about, possibly, letting him be an analyst and Joe Judge taking over, who's to say Joe Judge couldn't be, trying out like DJ Durkin or even Petrino, how they're doing, and then just keep the ball rolling. Obviously, you're going to lose Lane Kiffin being, bringing the players and the creativity. But Weiss and Judge, and I mean, I'm not a big Golden fan, but all those guys are doing really well with this team. So is that just out of the question? He's going to take them with him to go look for a Summerall?
Well, Petrino's not really helping himself in Arkansas right now, but I think Weiss might go with him. Pete Gold's not. He's got a 3-year contract with the university. He's the highest paid assistant in the SEC, and it's guaranteed money for the next 2 years. Yeah. And whoever they hire, that's just going to be a caveat. It's like, yeah, Pete Golden's your DC. Now, if Summerall comes up and he brings his guys with him, they could be co-defensive coordinators. But Pete Golden, he is so ingratiated with these players. They love him. And if he left, that would hurt. I think the transfer portal would just load up like crazy, and that would make a lot of SEC teams happy.
Yeah.
But could you walk away from multi-million dollars for 2 years, guaranteed, to go to, let's say, Florida, where you could be gone in 4 years and not have a job?
Yeah, no,
or you could stay at Ole Miss, get all that money, and pretty much write your own ticket anywhere you wanted to go. I'm not sure he wants to be a head coach, by the way, but also he went to Delta State, just down the road in Cleveland. His wife's an Ole Miss grad. When he was in Alabama, his wife said, I really hate going to Ole Miss because I have to wear crimson instead of red and blue.
Yeah.
But once he got the job there, she's like, I can finally get rid of that stuff in my wardrobe. I won't say what she really said instead of stuff, but get rid of that. So, I think he wants to be there. So I don't think he would follow Kiffin.
Hey, Steve, let me ask you something. I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole myself because I've got my own thoughts on this. I actually think Lane Kiffin might be the only person in the country who's actually acting like a normal human being in all of this. But we'll get into that later. But obviously, the media's amping this up. Fans are online everywhere. Everybody thinks everything has to be done now because we know you make great decisions when you make them quick and emotionally. But we know what the media is like, and they think this has to be done now and this has to be resolved now and this, that, or the other. But let's talk about the fan base. Where is the fan base on this? Are they starting to are they starting to turn on Lane, if you will, that either make a decision or get the heck out? I mean, where is the fan base on this thing? Because I think that's insane, but apparently I'm in the minority in this whole thing.
I don't think they've turned on him. I think they would just like to know. And if he says, I'm leaving, I think the fan base would say, hey, thank you. You left this place a lot better than you found it. And good luck down the road, except when you play us. Yeah. I think that's what it is. Now, what I did find was interesting this week was in the Grove, I understand Mississippi Nice was not particularly Mississippi Nice all the time because the Florida fans had just been online just saying all kind of stuff. Then showing up in orange. And one of my best friends from Ole Miss, Karen, she lives down in West Palm Beach, and she married a Florida graduate. And they go to every Florida Ole Miss game, and I begged her on Thursday, do not let your husband wear an orange shirt in the Grove. Please just don't do it. And I'll tell you what, one of my favorite things was, golly, I guess it was about 3-4 weeks ago, I guess, that Jeff was saying, I don't like the Grove because they cater stuff.
Yes.
From Winn-Dixie.
Yes, that's what he said.
Well, Chef Elizabeth High School, gotta love her. She's on the Feinbaum show every week, and once a week she flies to New York. She's the chef for the Today Show. She was in New York on the Feinbaum show, and she had to order a refrigerated truck to park in her driveway while she was gone because she was having a 40-pound alligator delivered. She had to keep it on ice till she got back from New York, and then at 3 o'clock on Saturday morning, she started roasting it in her front yard.
Nice.
Now, that's a chef, and that's a fan.
There you go.
Like I said, she's a quintessential Oxford woman, and I love her to death. But I would love to have been in that tent on Saturday because I love me some gator meat.
Looking at all of it, how it all is sitting right now, I've honestly, and I agree with you, Steve, and obviously you got the pulse of the Ole Miss faithful more than I do, but I agree. I think the fans just say, hey, whatever you want to do it. Let's work out the exit plan, whether it's play or go. Coaches stay, everybody stays, because at the end of the day, this is a great Ole Miss football team. They've got a great quarterback. They've got a chance to make some noise in the playoff. They're going to make the playoff as long as they continue to just follow suit like they have been. And they just want to see what their team can do because this is an excitement that they love. They're loving this year, and that's really what I think. So I agree with you.
Well, if he says he's going to go, there's no way they're going to let him coach the playoffs. They're going to say, you need to go ahead and go. Go ahead. That's your decision, which would weigh heavy on him because he really wants to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the other thing, he's got a great quarterback, but Keelan Lacey, I'm sorry, he is the most underrated back in the country. He's got 19 rushing touchdowns. That leads the nation.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the only time he's ever had 19 before was his high school senior year at Lancaster High School in Dallas. And I was doing a little research because, I do work a little bit every now and then, guys.
Surprising.
And thank God for calculators, but his average touchdown run is 9.4 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're thinking, okay, he's a home run hitter because, he's had a 54-yard, he's had 28-yard. He's had long runs.
And
he's had 7 from 1 yard, 4 from 2, 2 from 3, and 1 from 4. 14 of his 19 have been basically, at the goal line. So the way I look at him, he's a home run hitter who also can hit 330 for average.
Yeah, that's
hard to find.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's the one that really is making this team multifunctional.
And the other thing is, he's a transfer from Missouri. And I think, it was this spring, Kiffin said, it's sometimes better to finish second in recruiting. The kid didn't come to Ole Miss because he was committed. And said, no, I'm going to go to Missouri instead. So he went to Missouri, found out he wasn't happy, but they had to pay him his freshman year. We didn't have to pay him.
Yeah.
That's another thing about Kiffin. He gets the payroll thing.
Yeah, and Missouri's got themselves a great running back over there as well. He's killing it too.
Lacey would not be playing right now at Missouri behind that guy.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Brian, I'm sorry what that guy did to State.
He's still running.
That should be a crime.
That should be
stopped
him yet.
Yeah, he's still running.
Brian, would you say that that Lane Kiffin cannot coach the playoffs because he's going to take the Florida job?
I think every situation's unique, but I think the prevailing mindset of that is, look, your mind's going to be on recruiting, your mind's going to be on setting up your staff. There's this notion that you're not going to be fully bought in and prepared here, so go on and do that. I understand that. I think there are people who can do both. One of the reasons that Saban wouldn't let him do it when he got the head job down at Florida Atlantic is the year before, Saban felt like Kirby was distracted, or I think it was 2 years before, whatever, that Kirby was distracted, and even though they won the national championship, the defense did not play very well that game, and I think Saban decided, look, I don't think you can do both. And look, he may be right. So in my mind, I would probably try and weigh it out. But yeah, if you're asking me, I think I would probably lean more toward, if you're going to take that job, go do that instead of trying to do two things at once.
And that would
last thing at Bama, if you remember, they let him go in the semifinals.
Yeah. Yep.
What happened in the finals?
Lost.
They brought Sark in, and they lost. That's right.
Yeah. Now, the way I can equate this best, now this is going to go in the Wayback Machine, if you remember Mr. Peabody. It was in the late 80s where Frieder was the basketball coach at Michigan. He said, I'm taking the job at Arizona, Arizona State. And Bo Schembler said, go ahead and go.
Yeah. He said Michigan, that's right.
And Fisher took the job took him to the national championship.
That's right.
Yep.
So that's the only way I could equate that situation. But it's just going to be, do that or get off the pot.
Ironically, that run they made to the national championship that year, Paul will appreciate this, and Steve, you might as well. You know who gave Michigan their toughest game until the championship game against Seton Hall?
Alabama.
No. South Alabama.
Alabama.
Because South had beaten Alabama.
That is right.
That's right. PB&J.
The PB&J
second round.
Beat them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Junie Lewis and Jeff Hodge.
Back then, Bama used to go to Sweet 16 like every year.
Yeah. South drew Alabama in the first round and beat them. Jeff Hodge had a buzzer shot.
We all went. We all got to go.
What happened to Ronnie Arrow, by the way?
He actually he went. I can't remember where he went on to. He ended up coming back and coaching at South a few more years, several years down the line. I don't know where he is now.
I think he's got a vacation home either in Orange Beach or Gulf Shore, something like that. But
I'm sure he'll be over here in Pensacola for the Sun Belt tournament.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he will. Let me end with this, though. Steve, wouldn't it be the most Lane Kiffin thing to be able to coach this team, even though he's going to Florida, though? Wouldn't that just be the big troll himself finally trolling everybody and saying, hey, we worked it out? But it'll be up to the administrators for sure. It won't be his call.
Yeah, Keith Carter's not going to allow that. Glenn Boyce is not going to allow that. It's like you sign it now or just go ahead and leave. And one last thing, guys, the G5, here's a weird scenario for you. Navy goes to the American championship game, plays either North Texas or Tulane.
Oh.
And wins that. There's a chance they're going to be picked for the playoffs.
Yep.
But the week after, they have another game. They have to play Army.
That's right.
What happens if they lose that one?
It's crazy.
Could they get a bid and then lose it?
Oof.
I don't know.
Tough.
That would be weird, but I think in the American, James Madison's ranked ahead of Tulane and North Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both ranked. So if Tulane and North Texas play in the championship game, whoever wins, they have another ranked win. Yeah. They could jump James Madison.
That's right.
That's just, the G5 is just totally jumbled this year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Steve, we appreciate you coming on, man. It was awesome today, and we definitely will talk to you on Tuesday. Man, just hoping to have more breaking news coming out of Oxford this week.
All right. Love you guys like fried chicken.
Thanks,
all right,
Steve.
my friend. When we come back, we'll talk more about this past weekend in college football. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Touchdown!
Keep the adventures going this holiday season in a new Kia from Billburn Kia during the Season of New Tradition sales event. Billburn Kia is now offering 0.9% APR for up to 60 months plus $750 bonus cash on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or a new 2025 Kia Telluride. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Countdown to savings is going on now, so drive away in a new Kia before the year ends and celebrate the season in style. Billburn Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. See us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillburnKiaPanamaCity.com.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento or VIN-specific new 2025 Telluride with $1,705 per month per 1,000 financed at 60 months. Quality's limited. $750 APR bonus is applied as down payment and no cash value. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 12/1/25.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. This is the Sports Blitz, where we don't have guests. We have punching bags. The Sports Blitz at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live and local here in the CBC Construction Studio right here in beautiful Panama City Beach. Got Jeffrey with me, got Brian with me, Bone Crushers crushing it for us. And don't forget, if you want to be a part of the show, you can call in as well on the Red 17's phone line, 850-215-6290. We've been talking a lot about the coaching carousel, obviously with Lane Kiffin leading the way. Want to bring up something that happened over the weekend that everybody's kind of been talking about. That's the sideshow of all of this. And the fact is that it looks like James Franklin and Virginia Tech are getting together. They're crushing the numbers to see whether or not it's going to be a fit. For me personally, he's tried the SEC, obviously, howbeit with Vanderbilt, and then he went to a powerhouse as far as money, like what we've talked about with Penn State. Wasn't able to win it there, got to the playoff, just didn't finish the deal. And his mantra has always been can't win the big ones, as well as, other things. But do you think it's a good move for him to go try his hand at the ACC now with Virginia Tech, knowing that the Beamer, has been, able to be successful, being able to get all of the recruits that used to be in the East area up there? That was a big push for Beamer to get those people there. I honestly think this is a great fit. I don't think him going to a lowlier, if that's even a word, SEC school and kind of just being, at the middle of the road with an Arkansas or something like that, or waiting for Lane to leave Ole Miss and kind of, play the 9-4 game, 10-2 if you can, if you get a good break that year. But I think going to the ACC for James Franklin is probably the best bet. Brian, what do you think about that?
It's a good fit. There's a few others I think that could make sense too. I just think James Franklin, his MO is he'll take a D student and bring him to a B.
Yeah.
I just think that's his thing. Where he has not shown necessarily has the ability to take an A student to an A+.
Right.
I just don't think that's been his thing. So you look at some of the jobs that are out there that I think he would actually be perfect for. I think he'd be very good at UCLA. I think they need to get rid of their athletic director, but I think he'd be very good out there. I think Virginia Tech makes sense for him. I think Arkansas could work for him as well. What I don't think would be in his MO is a job like necessarily LSU, which I view LSU as an A that's trying to go to an A+.
Yeah.
And I don't know that necessarily fits him. So Virginia Tech makes sense. I'm curious how that impacts, if it does at all, his buyout. If Virginia Tech can get him cheap and they can thus spend money on NIL based on that, which would be good for them all the way around. I don't know the details of that, but just from a football coaching standpoint, really since Frank Beamer retired, they've been kind of on a steady regression. I mean, they've had a couple of stints there with Fuentes and things, but it was never consistent. The one thing I'll say about Franklin is he can get you better.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he can make you great. They need to get better first.
Yeah, and I just wonder, when you look at the talent that he was able to get at Penn State, because before him you had O'Brien there. They had the scandal going on. Bill O'Brien kind of got it back all together, and then Franklin took over after O'Brien left and went to the NFL. But when you look at it, do you think that he'll be able to pull a lot of those kids in the same area that he was grabbing? Will he be able to get a 5-star to come to Virginia Tech? Will he be able to get the 4-stars that are close and steal them away from the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Penn States now as well, depending on whoever they bring in? But when you look at him, Jeffrey, do you think that he'll be able to have somewhat of the same success? Because the weaker, we know that the Big Ten is top heavy, but the ACC, they're kind of they were top heavy, but this year is kind of a different animal. So do you think now is the right time to get into the ACC with a coach like that? That's a big name. James Franklin's a big name. Outside of going to FSU, I think this is his best spot.
Yeah, not only that, having boosters spend money on football again at Virginia Tech, because I don't know if you know, Virginia Tech owns the Washington, D.C. area.
Right.
I lived up in Northern Virginia for a year and a half, and they own that whole area. And there's a lot of money up in the bubble. But as far as recruiting goes, you're looking north to Michigan and Ohio. Why not look down in North Carolina and Tennessee? They're right there in the foothills of that whole mountainous area, and they're going to take North Carolina and Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee mostly, and scoop them right up into Blacksburg.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that his familiarity with the high school that he was already going to when he was at Penn State, he'll have a rapport with those coaches still, and now the sale will be, let's go to Virginia Tech and do something that they haven't done since Frank Beamer's been there.
Well, let's talk about the weakest part of the Penn State argument that we made earlier. They're 15th, 15th, and 16th in the last 3 years in recruiting at Penn State.
Right.
The reason is because that blue-collar, old Pennsylvania type person isn't there like it used to be. The recruits just aren't there like the past.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Pennsylvania's lost population. They kind of hold it steady, but a lot of people moving out. They're kind of stagnant on population, sort of like Louisiana is.
Western Pennsylvania has lost.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I don't know. I think there were only 2 places for Franklin to go. I don't believe it was UCLA was the other one. I think it was Florida State.
Yeah.
And Florida State was just sitting on Norvell for a little too long for Franklin to even have, wait around for a job that possibly might happen.
And the crazy thing is that with the way South Carolina lost this weekend, and with how everybody has been talking about it before, whenever they've had this disappointing season, because at the beginning of the year, South Carolina this possibly could be their year. Lenore Sellers might be going to New York at the end of the year and all of these things. And now you have a possibility of a Beamer coming available, but then soon as that starting to sound like he's about to leave South Carolina, now we're talking about Franklin going to Virginia Tech. So then he's possibly going to be an opportunity to go somewhere else.
I mean, if you've got a Shane Beamer that South Carolina doesn't want, maybe Virginia Tech doesn't, or they're not beating down the door to do it. And I'll throw something else out. Shane Beamer strikes me as a guy who honestly might not want to go to Virginia Tech. I think he wants to, pave his own road and do that. So it wouldn't shock me if he didn't want to do that. The thing that I find interesting about Franklin, if you look at all these other situations where coaches have been fired in the season, we heard it at Auburn, we heard it at LSU, we heard it at Florida. When the coach got fired, there was a new pep in everybody's step at practice. And at LSU, some of the players weren't real happy. With Brian Kelly. At Florida, some of the same thing. At Auburn, some of the same thing. And that next week, it was just like, wow, practice is like this. We didn't hear that with Franklin. I didn't hear of a single player who was thrilled that James Franklin.
No, you're right.
So he is kind of a player's coach. Now, look, Penn State had given him plenty of time. I didn't have any issue with them doing what they did, but he clearly connects really well with those players, and I think that is important if you're looking at him to bring him into your program at Virginia Tech. So that is one definite positive he brings beyond just his record and the set of the other, especially, like I said, when you're trying to get better up into that upper echelon, not necessarily get to the promised land right away. I mean, they've got a few steps to take before they start thinking about the Michael Vick days again.
Yeah, but I've got a big prediction. You give me 2 years of James Franklin, and I'll say that second year, he's going to be playing in the ACC championship with Virginia Tech. He might, but he's going to play in that ACC championship in 2 years.
They would take losing in that championship all day now.
You're exactly right. And
I haven't had much life since Michael Vick.
No, but I'm telling you, I believe he's that kind of guy, and it's exactly what you said. The point of him taking a C and making him a B+, or taking a B and making him an A,
he's
and
great
have some people off of the, who's to say some of these kids that were at Penn State is not going to want to come play at Virginia Tech, to go to your second point about how they love him. And then you've got another opportunity for this team to do something that they hadn't done in a long time.
And to Jeff's point about locking up D.C., that's what Maryland was so adamant about doing when they went after Mike Loxley, was to try and get into and take over that market. And that's why the Maryland fans are so up in arms that they won't fire Loxley, because they see if Virginia Tech gets this right, we're in trouble again. And there's, from 2009 on, when all the jobs were moving to D.C., if you look at how the recruits have gotten better, well, anytime you have a lot of people moving into an area, they're bringing families, they're bringing kids, and the more you get of that, the more likely it is you're going to have good ones. That's why you've seen an explosion in talent coming out of D.C. since 2009, when all the jobs were going there. So if you can lock down that D.C. area, you're going to be in play.
Yeah, and he's going to be, because that's one thing he can do. And he can recruit, and he's going to get kids to the NFL, and he's going to get kids to buy into what he's selling, because the dude can sell it. I mean, he missed his calling at selling cars, because he definitely can sell a program to these kids. I believe that. So give me year 2, James Franklin. We'll write it down and see whether or not they make it to the ACC championship, because they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the ACC.
How quickly we forget. Do you know what the record was for Penn State last year? 14-2.
Yeah,
there you go.
They went to the semifinals last year.
There you go. That's right.
They went to the Big Ten championship. They lost by 7 points to Oregon.
They had an easy road in the playoffs, but they got to the semifinals.
Still was there. Yeah, we talked about that. They were still there.
But Penn State's never won 14 games. Ever.
No.
Till then.
They got an A-.
There you go.
They'll still be an A-.
Yeah, that's right. But either way, we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss all things college football. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. Are you sick of the old sports talk? The vanilla opinions, the polite debates, the hosts who are afraid to say what they really think? So are we. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is bringing the house. It's the new Sports Blitz.
Weekdays, 4 to 6.
We're starting arguments, not conversations. The Sports Blitz.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Monday. Mostly clear skies tonight with a light breeze coming out of the east around 5 miles per hour, and look for the low to be 58. Tomorrow morning, there will be sunshine with the temperature reaching 73. Clear in the afternoon and evening with a high of 75. Wednesday will have a high of 76 and mostly sunshine. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job, it's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Our family, protecting your family.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WFLQ Fort St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. Some people say our opinions are toxic. We say they're just a little terminal. The Sports Blitz.
This malpractice committee has received a few complaints against you.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
We've hit the 5 o'clock hour. It's on a Monday here at the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. You know, the thing is, you didn't think you were going to make it, but you did make it through this Monday. We had a great weekend. For some fans, not every fan, but if you want to, you can be a part of the show today. You can call in on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. And if you disagree with Jeffrey, that would be the easiest way to let us know. That and Facebook, we appreciate you following, sharing, and commenting. We will read those on as well. Guys, it's very frustrating. The way that we've been playing for the past couple of weeks, I just had the inkling, and we talked about it in Thursday and on Friday a little bit, just about how the offense had been sputtering and not playing great. And it finally has caught up to us. Losing the turnover battle was the issue.
Oh, yeah.
2 fumbles, the 1 pick. Because all the stats were about the same. Everything was about the same from 3rd down to 4th down. Oklahoma did not play a great game either. It was just the turnover battle and missing a field goal, but just being off. It just seemed like, again, like last weekend with LSU, Ty Simpson was just off. And when you look at some of the things that everybody was talking about in the beginning when he was doing so good, it's just, I don't know. And I'm getting very concerned because I dislike, let me just say this. Let me get this out of my system because I got to say it out loud. I dislike Brent Venables so bad because, let me tell you why. Okay, so the reason why I can't stand Brent Venables, this is the reason. During the times that we were playing Clemson.
He didn't call a pick play.
Listen, during the time, I hate that part too. During the times that Alabama was playing Clemson almost year in, year out for the national title, Kirby Smart would be on our defensive sideline and he would be calling the defense out. And Scott Cochran would go out and grab him by his belt buckle and start to pull him back in. He was the first one to do that. So then what do I see Clemson doing? What do I see Clemson doing? What do I see Brent Venables doing? Copying Kirby Smart and starting to get to where his coaching staff starts pulling Coach Brent Venables back. We've got to pull him back. He's so locked in. So that right there, my friends, is why I dislike Brent Venables. And then now he beats my Tide 2 years in a row. I like Dabo Sweeney better than I like Brent Venables. I'm trying to think of somebody else that I did. You know what? Give me Gus Malzahn. I like Gus. I like Gus Malzahn wearing the Bobby Bowden, Nick Saban straw hat more than I like Brent Venables.
All right.
So there you go.
Folks, if you're not watching us right now, I have lost the ability to see where the red shirt ends and your skin begins. Look, I think the offense, in a way, actually played better than they did against LSU. I think they were out of sync most of the game against LSU.
For sure.
In this game, they were able to move the ball. The problem is, and actually, on the morning show, we actually had talked to Jeff Spiegel, and he brought it up. So he's the one who jinxed it, by the way. So go up to Birmingham and beat up Jeff. But he said, if you notice, Ty Simpson has become more loose with the football. He's fumbled at a rate of once every other game, which is catching up. And that was really the game. You nailed it. It was the turnovers.
Yeah.
A pick six because he got a little hurried. 2 fumbles in your own zone, both of them unforced errors. The missed field goal is not a good look either. But, you have all of these things happen, and you're playing the number 11 team in the country, and you only lose by 2 points, and they were in the game.
Yeah.
Tyson, if you look at his numbers, and I know numbers can tell a different story, If you just looked at this and didn't know the score of the game, and you saw Ty Simpson was 28 of 42 for 326 and a touchdown, you'd say offense backfiring. For a lot of the part, they were. They just made key mistakes at the wrong times.
Yeah.
And they really hurt them. Oklahoma took advantage of them. Alabama did not force any, although the defense, I thought, played well. They outgained them 2-1. They held the ball for 6 or 7 more minutes than Oklahoma.
Way more plays.
I think they actually played a little better, but they made 3 critical mistakes and had a missed field goal right before the half. You can't do that.
No.
Not against a team of this caliber. It's actually amazing to me. It was only a 2-point game.
Yeah, and that was the key about it. When you watched this game, you were thinking, okay, if Alabama don't do something here, they're about to blow the top off, and they just never did because the defense was able to keep them in the football game. Jeff, when you look at this Alabama team as of sitting right now, not to make me mad, because we do have a break, and I'll grab you on the break. But do you think this is an Alabama football team that can and will make the playoff?
I think they can and will. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't think that was it?
Eastern Illinois, they get to go play a little prep school before they play Auburn, and I think they'll beat Auburn at Auburn. Come on. I don't know what's going to happen with SEC championship now because A&M still is undefeated somehow. That was unbelievable. And then Georgia, Alabama has the tiebreaker over Georgia. And then Ole Miss doesn't have the tiebreaker on Georgia. So is it Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss? I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if if the rankings come into play or what's going to happen with the SEC championship second team that's making it in.
I'm not sure if they do have the the tiebreaker. I'm not sure about all of those things, but I don't think the ranking has any bearing on it.
Then that's Bama in, and if you lose and you become 10-3, I think you still are the last team in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
If they do end up going to the SEC championship, you would think that they would get in.
Yeah.
Because aren't they still saying that there's no bearing on the championship games as much as they were?
They can say that, but if you have chaos in the other championship games, then it becomes which of the losers do you... I mean, it just totally depends on how those play out. Now, in most cases, I would say... if Texas Tech goes in there and gets beat, they're probably not going with 2 losses, even though I think they're a good team. Whoever wins the ACC, if they go in there and they lose, they're probably out too. So I don't know. I think Alabama's in a good spot if they win these next 2, go to the SEC championship game and lose to potentially an undefeated Texas A&M. Yeah, they're in good shape, but... that is part of the issue, though, is I don't know all of the rules about who does go. Because if Ole Miss has 1 conference loss and Alabama has 1 conference loss and Georgia has 1 conference loss, they all hold it over each other. But how does it go to the highest ranked team? Well, if that's the case, it's Georgia.
Well, they don't hold it over.
If they go to overall record, it would be Georgia or Ole Miss, and then Ole Miss or Georgia would have it over them. So I'm not 100% sure how that plays out, to be honest with you. But I don't know that it works out in Alabama's favor, so they may not have to worry about the SEC championship game, which I think if they win out, even if they don't go to the championship game, they're in good shape.
Yeah, I see that too being the best way.
Mark my words, I'll tell you 2 teams that are sitting on the edge, and they're really not going to make it in over 10-3 Bama, and that's 10-2 Miami and 10-2 Utah.
Yeah.
You don't see Utah sitting outside because you're too busy looking at BYU and Texas Tech, who have already played each other to a 22-point difference in points. That's how Texas Tech beat BYU. But BYU gave Utah one of their 2 losses, so they're on the outside. A 10-2 Utah is not making it over a 10-3 Bama team ever.
Yeah, and the best thing about this year is how top-heavy the Big Ten is, and that helps because that opens up another opportunity because you've just got Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So they only get
USC had to come back on Iowa.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've only got 2 losses, so there's a small chance USC far on the outside.
But then also
they've still got some tough games.
They got, and then you've got you got to think about how the ACC is doing exactly what we said they were going to do, which is eat each other.
ACC is going to get 1. Big 12 is going to get 1. To me, the question is going to be just that: is it USC? Because if USC and Oregon both put up enough to get 4 from the Big Ten, then the SEC is only getting 4. If it's 3 like everyone thinks from the Big Ten, then I do think the SEC gets 5. And those 5 are probably pretty set at this point.
Yeah, they are.
We'll just have to
So this is when chaos reigns, and it's not really this weekend as much as the following weekend.
True. Yeah.
And I told you in a text today, what'd I say? Oklahoma has got to play Missouri and LSU at home.
I think those are easy routes for them.
Vanderbilt still got the Vols. Those 2 teams lose. Miami loses. And that's where the edge of that number 10 team, and who knows what's going to happen in the American Conference because they've round-robined each other already.
If you start to have this anarchy in the SEC and the Big Ten, that's where the second teams, the Utahs, those
the
type
BYU.
of BYU, those type of teams could get some traction, especially if whoever it is there plays Texas Tech really tough and loses, or does the ACC. The ACC, if it ends up Miami and Georgia Tech, I could see a scenario where both of them go.
Whoa.
So, I mean, it would take some chaos in the SEC and Big Ten, but we've certainly seen that before.
I could see where not Boston College, but where Georgia Tech had to have a field goal to beat Boston College, which is a lowly team. I think that's going to be the eye
So here's
test,
this scenario. Georgia Tech beats Georgia and then loses in the ACC championship game.
To Virginia.
Do they still go? They got a huge win.
Yeah. You're right.
Maybe.
It would, yeah.
Probably just getting 1 out of the ACC, but who knows?
Oh, my God.
Right now it'd be Miami.
Don't make me even think that Georgia Tech could be the 10 and Georgia Bulldogs be 11 with only 2 losses.
Could be.
Oh, my God.
So that's, in a way, that's the fun of it because, I mean, we've seen it through the years. I mean, certainly back when it was 2 in the BCS or whatever the coalition or whatever they called it.
4.
And then we went to 4. I mean, we saw weekends where everything. I mean, I think the year Alabama went in 11 after losing to LSU earlier that year, they needed like 3 things to happen. One weekend, all 3 did.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to be, and we talked about this, I guess it was last Wednesday, we had talked about how that it looks like to me that, the 12 is good for now, but eventually they're going to bring the 16 into the key and they're going to be adding. And obviously it's because of these things, because all of these people are going to say, they're going to say, oh, well, all of these teams from 1 to 16 are capable of winning the national title.
It's so dumb, though, because 64 wasn't enough for basketball, for God's sake. That's the dumbest thing that's ever happened in the
And
world.
that's why I think they're going to do it, because they're the same governing body
I think
style.
it's done.
So let me tell you,
let
me tell you what the playoff committee has talked about. They haven't talked about 16. You know what they have talked about?
An NIT?
14.
Yeah.
And 2 teams get a bye. I don't know if you knew about that.
Yeah, I remember they talked something about
They're
it.
talking about it heavily.
Yeah, so that could be the next step because, nothing's ever good enough, and they're trying to say that the ending of the year, a lot of teams are with the opt-out availability. Now, the way they can lock these kids in, though, is to tell them they can't get their money if they don't lock in for the full season and play out the rest of the games.
The problem you're always going to have with that is the fact that they do not have antitrust exemption the way that the pro leagues have, and they don't have collective bargaining.
Right.
So I don't know that they're going to be able to mandate or tie somebody's ability to earn money off of their image to being one specific team. They'll try it, it'll go to court, and they'll lose. That's why the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, and all of them can do the things that they do. All of them have federal antitrust exemption and the ability to collectively bargain as labor.
Yeah.
The NCAA athletes do not have that right now. That's why the NCAA keeps losing in court. You have this really unhealthy balance now of trying to treat it like a sport you want to control for the betterment of your league versus people's ability to make a living outside of, something that's got antitrust exemptions.
Yeah.
We're at least 10 years from having this figured out.
So let's talk about the Volunteers linebacker. Do y'all know about that?
Yeah, Boo Carter.
Yeah, Boo Carter. So disciplinary reasons, he was told that he would not play this last weekend. He didn't show up to the game.
Right.
And so what he's saying now is that he's saying he has a season-ending injury. The team says he's no longer on the team.
Right.
So now we got 2 different stories.
And that's where, this kind of stuff is going to continue to happen because you see what happens. They start, the problems that they start having, and then you've got a team that is on the outside looking in, like Tennessee.
Let me blow your mind worse. There's 50 different state laws.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I guarantee you what he's doing has something to do with Tennessee state law somewhere. So that's the other problem that you have. Now, again, because the pro leagues have their federal antitrust exemption, they're able to get around that kind of thing because they're the ability to collectively bargain. But the only difference you have in the pro leagues is the fact that some states have a state income tax and some don't.
Yeah.
But you're actually an independent contractor. So if the Tennessee Titans are playing the New York Giants in New Jersey, which is hilarious, they have to file taxes in the state of New Jersey on that thing. So, there's so many. This is like, when you have a little thread on a sweater and you pull it, and now the whole darn thing's coming apart. That's what's going on. We're in the middle of this.
Yeah, we are. And it's going to be curious to see how it all happens. But you know what's not curious? Whether or not you can get a good deal from one of our great sponsors, AutoNation Ford in Panama City. Don't forget, those guys have Black Friday specials for the whole month. They're not waiting until Thanksgiving, the day after you're full and sleepy. They're saying they got the deals right now. 730 West 15th Street, AutoNation Ford in Panama City, right by the railroad tracks. Don't forget to tell them that Paul sent you. Also, if your vehicle needs some polishing up, some sharpening up, some looking better for the holiday season, maybe you got some dents and dings that you don't want your family members to see that, you did because you can't drive that well.
Fire hydrant shaped dent.
That's right. Show up looking sharp at the family functions for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Go see Recommended Collision Center. Brandon and those guys are local, and they do a wonderful job. They do free estimates, and all of the insurance work goes right through their shop. They do a great job. Go see them. They're on Jinx Avenue, right off 15th Street. Take a right there at the red light, and they're about 0.2 of a mile past the railroad tracks there as well. So either way, go see them. Recommended Collision Center. Jeffrey, what you got for us?
I'm just going to talk about Hard Rock Bet. If a player you picked gets sidelined in the first half, you're not out of the game. With injury insurance, you'll get your bet back as a bonus bet, as long as you're not picking on UNO basketball.
What?
As long as you're not betting on Cleveland Guardians pitchers.
This is offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 or older and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Play Wise. Well, we are going to take our next break, and when we come back, we've got the PCB Hobby Takeover. Some new people to see. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Call or text him now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Monday. Mostly clear skies tonight with a light breeze coming out of the east around 5 miles per hour, and look for the low to be 58. Tomorrow morning, there will be sunshine with the temperature reaching 73. Clear in the afternoon and evening with a high of 75. Wednesday will have a high of 76 and mostly sunshine. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design, build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
Your goals matter, and at Anytime Fitness Panama City, they're ready to help you crush them. With expert coaching, personal training, and virtual workouts through the Anytime Fitness app, you'll have all the support you need inside the club and beyond. Limited time only. Join today for just $1 down and start your fitness journey now. Don't wait. Visit 107 West 23rd Street, Suite W8, or call 850-818-8184. Anytime Fitness. Let's make healthy happen.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. The PCB Hobby Takeover. Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We're live and local right here in the CBC Construction Studio, Panama City Beach, Florida. Beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. And we are joined today with two of the PCB Hobby Takeover. People that make this business work. I know normally we have Todd on here.
Yes.
But
I at least I brought the hat, right?
But we got the doctor and the captain with the same person because she runs the ship. And I would like for you.
Right, baby.
That's right. So I would like
it's
for
still
you.
the captain and the doctor.
That's right.
You got it right.
So I would like for you to introduce our new guest today and tell us what she does.
So we have PCB Hobbies Chief of Staff, Dr. Hazel Cole.
Doctor.
Hello. We met actually in Hattiesburg, Mississippi when we were studying for our PhD.
Southern Miss.
No, y'all met on Hardy Street. Admit it.
Yes, we did.
We did.
Do you remember that
49?
That's right.
Do you remember that barbecue place that was right by campus? It was on Hardy.
Yeah.
It was almost like a little
what was that?
Yes, it was almost like a little New Orleans, right? Time Saver. Do you remember Time Saver? It was like a
would have
little
been after me.
stop and go kind of place.
No, I've unfortunately I remember Senor Frog. What I remember about that.
Yes.
Anyway, it was called like Pig Heaven or something. I don't know,
I
but
can't remember.
It was so good. So yeah.
Yes. We in graduate school. We've been friends and colleagues ever since.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
She joined us here. So.
That is wonderful. Well, you guys have brought some gifts. I'd like for you, not gifts. I mean, if you would like to give these as personal gifts.
There you go.
Now, let me say this. It is my daughter's birthday today, so happy birthday, Lainey. I wanted to tell her 14 years old today, and she is becoming a young woman, and I don't know how I can deal with this.
14?
14.
Oh, so nothing you do is right.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any style, any class, or anything else to tell her. But either way, sorry to take away from that. But either way, let's see what you got today. This looks awesome.
Yeah, so I wanted, which I'm sure Todd's covered just about everything, but OA, which is original art. So this is Frank Miller, which let me hold it up for the camera. Sorry, you guys.
We'll do this. Yep.
So it's a signed one. So he did this. Frank Miller did this original art in 1982.
Wow.
And so this, I think they went back to the till to reprint it because everything's so different now than it was in the 80s and the 90s. But anyway, and so that's his signature right there. And so they did 500 of these. This really should be numbered. I'm not quite sure why it's not numbered because normally there's one there. But yeah, I mean, this is something he did in 1982 and it still lives.
Wow.
And they have these things where they do in comics all the time. They do homage covers.
Yep.
And so every time you turn around, somebody is doing this, in essence, this cover just with like a different character or something. Right. And so it's looked at as being not like copying, but actually, giving credence to that artist.
Yeah, like a tribute.
Yeah,
almost.
it is.
Yeah,
it is like a tribute. Yeah,
Excellent.
it is kind of cool. So anyway, if you've seen this, then you'll see other things that look like it. Anyway, so this is his OA. So what happens is that you can, as a collector, you can buy these pieces of art, which is really cool because some people don't want to just get a comic book.
That's right.
And find the special stand for it and all that to put on their wall. But you can actually have a comic book art framed and put on your wall. So you might be able to buy the pencil version. And so, there's the different stages of it. Then it's sent to like the inker and the colorist. And so each one produces a new OA in essence. And so by the time they're finished, there could be 5 of these, just different in different iterations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a cool thing. So we have a lot of people that buy OA. In fact, we bought a piece of OA at MegaCon in Orlando, and it was Dr. Doom, which
of course,
all the rage.
Yeah.
And so so we buy it ourselves. Even we buy original art. Sometimes we hang on to it, but then sometimes we turn around and sell it. But anyway, so this is the one that Frank Miller did for us a few months ago, and it's kind of interesting because this is 82.
Wow.
Frank Miller, but this is like this year, Frank Miller. And we fell in love with the cover.
Yes.
But so there are companion pieces to this. So there are, like I said, 4 or 5 different OA versions of this cover.
Oh, wow.
And I can tell you the Batman cover, those are available in the shop right now. They are on the wall.
He did a beautiful job because Frank Miller did the movies 300 and
Sin City.
Sin City, thank you.
That was how I knew it.
To me, this is so Sin City to me.
Yeah.
You know, he's very much film noir, and he went back to like his original. You know, for this.
Yeah,
and so I absolutely adore this cover.
I would like to get, like you said, they do different, versions of that. I would like to get mine and Jeff's and Brian's and Bone Crusher on that setting right there. That would be kind of cool.
Gosh, that would be so funny. I would love that.
Mine would probably be the funniest because these hairs are somehow going away at times.
We could probably get Josh actually to do it.
Absolutely could. He would look like him.
Yeah, it would be. So anyway, so it's just another thing that we do, another way that you can collect comic art, which we love. I mean, we have 3 art degrees, in essence, liberal arts, but it's still art. And for us, like, the art is everything.
Yeah, and that's what people don't realize, that when they see a comic book, it's not just a comic book, because a lot of times there's a mantra that, this was just made for the kids. But like, if you see how intricate the covers are and even what they're worth when they're kept in pristine fashion, then you're looking at abilities to have signature pieces that that are really collectible and are worth a lot of money. And that's what that's the biggest part of it all.
Absolutely.
And the creativity too. We love that piece where they make something become a three-dimensional piece. And that element we love with the
100%.
And of course, like with Sajjad, we get to watch that a lot with him. Process. If you go into Bill's office, you can see the different renditions.
And it's amazing. So when we'll have artists on the stream, which they do fairly regularly now, several different artists, they'll do these remarks and things like that, different things where they will actually do art or, whatever. And it's amazing to me how effortless, like they'll be carrying on a conversation with the chat and drawing just this beautiful, I would have to be like, zoned in, like tracing, of course. But it's amazing to me how they can carry on this conversation with you in the chat, and they're just drawing this just unbelievably beautiful piece of art.
And it's awesome because we have the camera set.
That's right.
Where you can watch the artist do it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. We have an art cam, I guess, if you will. And it depends. Some artists, can do it quite effortlessly, but some of them, they take a little longer, and then they may do some of it and then have to finish it actually.
Everybody's process.
So there.
So basically, you guys have the Bob Ross of comics when they come in to do that, and kind of talk. We're going to do a little
no happy tree.
We're going to do a little happy tree
and look,
right
when
here.
we had Frank Miller, in studio, that was just so crazy because we couldn't really talk about it. If you remember, Brian.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
Yeah. Their PR team, they were like, you can't really talk about it. But once he came on, then, it was just nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But some of his stories were so good. He's such a genius.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got the chance to bring him to 30A as well. Yep. And so he was telling all kinds of stories.
I'm sure.
And it was so cool, to be able to listen. He's only a couple of years older than me.
He's only 31? How is that possible?
He's 30,
I know what I'm doing.
He's like 35.
So Brian's the senior guy in here today.
That's right. 100% I am.
But it's some of the stories that he tells is just so amazing. He has so much history, and I love it. These guys like Frank Miller that have transcended comics, right? They went into movies, just like Todd McFarlane, same thing. Yep. It's like these guys are really household names because they didn't just stay with comics.
Right.
They went into movies.
Right.
And that's when really, really everyone knows who you are.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What's coming up for this week in sports?
We got a lot. So before I get into this, I'm going to do something I've meant to do for each time I've been on for at least the last 2 months. I need to give a shout out because he is holding down the fort, and it was busy when I left. Drew Shell, I said his name correctly.
Right, Drew.
Drew, here's your shout out that I've promised you for 2 months, and I have failed miserably at ever since. I hope you're listening.
Thanks for listening, Drew.
Actually, I hope you're not. I hope you're so busy you can't listen, but you can go back and catch this later. We do have a lot of stuff coming in. Look, these people know what they're doing. They are ramping up for the holiday season. We got a lot of stuff. We had a bunch of drops last week. This week on Wednesday, so Topps Update Baseball, of course, came out last week. The Blasters come out. So the most affordable format hits on Wednesday. Those are going to be like in the $35, $40 range.
What's the, is that the one that's going to be the patch for the debut?
That's coming. That's going to be a little bit later, probably in December. The Topps Chrome Update Baseball is where the debut patches come out. So actually, I take that back. That one does have a, I think it's December. Yeah, December the 10th for Topps Chrome Update Baseball.
And that's big.
So that's coming. That'll be a very big one.
That's big.
That's the MLB debut patches. Topps Chrome Basketball, we believe, will come out before the end of the year. Topps has not released an official date, but that's coming. But also this week, we have Mosaic Football Choice. We have National Treasures Baseball. We have... I'm trying to see. There's so many different things coming here.
And Brian, I ask
Donruss Hobby Factory sets. We got all kind of different things.
I ask you every time, but what's the one again that comes in the briefcase? I always
Flawless.
Flawless. And when does that come out?
So Flawless Football will be later, probably like March, April, right before the license turns over. I know they'll want to get another year of it out. They'll do a collegiate version of it, which will probably hit in January or February. But yeah, those are real big. They can't do, well, they can do Flawless Basketball. It's unclear whether they will anymore since Topps now has the license. Flawless is a Panini product, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But there's so many things coming. Next week, we should get Allen and Ginter baseball. Everybody loves that. We've still got Topps Chrome Cosmic baseball to come. There's a lot. It's ironic the season's over. We have a lot of baseball products that are going to release over the next several weeks, just in time for Black Friday, just in time for Christmas. Topps, I'm sure, will be amping up the basketball release with Topps Chrome Basketball, which will be a huge one. And then football, you'll get a few more Panini products. Prism should be out right before Christmas, which will be the last year of licensed Panini Prism football.
Oh, wow.
Which is a big product. And then, of course, Topps takes over that license in April. So a lot of stuff coming out just in time. And, of course, at PCB Hobby, we're going to have a ton of deals for Black Friday. And I have one more thing I want to mention real quick because we finally have the MVPs in baseball.
Yes, that's where I was going. Yes.
Yeah, so Shohei Ohtani.
Explain to them what it is.
So Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge won again, but they're great. So what happens is in Topps Chrome Baseball, the base cards of Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, and then what they call parallels of that base card. So not the separate inserts, but the actual base card in their uniform. And then the parallels and then the numbered parallels of that card are all worth money in what's called the buyback program. We are a participating buyback shop. And so if you have, let's say, a base card of Aaron Judge, normally that'd be $1 card. Well, now, because of Topps' program and because we're a partner shop with them, that is worth $20 in-store credit.
Nice.
To you. It's huge. The parallels can be worth $40. The numbered ones can be worth north of $100 to you in-store credit. So it's this great program where Topps is really rewarding the customer by significantly amping up what, the value of that is. It's great for shops because it's driving business to us. And it's good for Topps because they're going to take these buybacks, they're going to stamp them, and in next year's product, you're going to see these cards in there numbered to 199, to 99, to 50, to 25, and so on. And so there'll be chases just like the ones from last year are in this year's product as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
And here's the beauty of our shop. You can use that store credit for anything in our shop.
Wow.
You can use it for new sports card boxes, for singles. You can use it for TCG. You can use it for comics. You can whatever. We are a buyback shop. That is bringing stuff into our shop, and you will best decide what you want to use that on.
Right. I mean, it's great. If you have a comic book collection that you picked up from your mom or whatever, and you go, okay, I don't really care about this anymore, you can bring it into the shop, and you can get credit for the sports cards that now you like.
There you go.
I love that we can do that.
And this buyback program lasts through the end of January, so you have plenty of time, and we have Topps Chrome products in there for you to buy. So here comes Paul.
So there, exactly.
Just as soon hand your money
over. It is only Topps Chrome baseball. And it is the base card. So if you get one of the all-etch inserts, those aren't a part of the program. But we do have a sheet right there in the shop that shows exactly what's worth everything in the buyback.
And they just turn that into you guys, and then you guys take it, and then that's how it works.
Absolutely
that's
right.
Fantastic. So let me ask you this. This might be something that Todd might have to help us out with. As everybody knows,
I can make it up.
Last week, we lost somebody. We lost to Abraham Lincoln on the penny.
We did.
And so there are pennies now that they're making at the end that is going to have the Omega stamp on it.
Oh, I did not hear that.
And so at the last ones are going to have the Omega stamp, and they're supposed to be bringing huge amounts of money, being the last ones printed. And so I'm sure that Todd's going to be all over that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably we can ask him. But
I can answer it generally.
I want to know that, and then I want to also, are pennies going to go up in value? Is there a chance for that with there being so many there? Or are we going to have to wait 10, 20 years now for pennies?
General pennies, probably not. These Omega pennies, though, look, anything collectible. Doesn't matter what it could be even things we don't deal in, but anything collectible comes down to three things. Are people interested in it? How rare is it? And what condition's it in?
Yeah.
It's always those three things. So with these Omega pennies, there's going to be fewer of them than regular. So there is a rarity. Certainly right now there's an interest because everybody's thinking about it. And if they're in nice condition, they could draw, a premium. Now, how much of that is going to depend on the rarity and the interest. But certainly anything that's rarer than the standard has the opportunity to be worth more money. So so there's a good possibility here, but it's down to humans. What do we like?
It's so weird not having the penny. That's just so weird.
I'm loving it.
It's so weird. And look, ironically,
and I still use cash, but I'm
ironically, every time I go somewhere, I see pennies on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, are people just pitching?
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, we don't need this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing. That's the funny part about it.
Someone told me the other day that they went into a store and that they would not accept pennies.
Wow.
Interesting.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Not us. We'll still take the penny.
Yeah. It makes me think about the people that get a parking ticket or something that they disagree with, and they take the bucket full of pennies to pay their fine.
Oh my gosh.
That kind of it makes you want to know. Yeah.
It is. It's wicked.
But either way, we're up against a break, and give us the address. Tell us something real cool about what's going on this weekend.
Brian is going to look. I am terrible with numbers, which is why I have three liberal arts degrees.
This is why she's a doctor. She makes me do it.
Yes.
Genius.
Yes, Brian.
11939 Panama City Beach Parkway, right there next to Florida Linen.
That I can tell you.
Yeah, it's right
Florida
there.
Linen, right?
Yeah.
Women need landmarks. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is.
And so I'll task you, because we've said Florida Linens probably 500 times on the show now. Could you please go over and get them to sponsor the show? We appreciate that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure you got a rapport with those guys over there. So either way, thank you both for being here. It was an honor to meet you.
We really appreciate it.
And just go see those guys. I'm sure we'll be over there with my little son wanting to get some cars now that Brian's told him there's more cars that could be worth more money. So either way,
what I'm doing.
We will be back. And when we come back, we're going to discuss this AP poll that just came out. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 7T studio line. Whether and the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Now is a great time for a new Toyota, where you can get 1.99% APR on a new Camry and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 3.49% APR on a new Corolla and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 1.99% on a new Tacoma, plus $1,000 in holiday cash. And 1.99% on a new Tundra, plus you'll get $1,000 in holiday cash. Visit our lot or browse online at Panama City Toyota.
Offers expire December 1st. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
It's Thursday. New Hard Rock Bet rewards are dropping.
Nice. Ed Reed, you in?
The only thing I drop is receivers and mics.
Ed, we're talking bonus bets, deposit matches, parlay insurance.
Oh, okay. I'll do that kind of drop.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets. Not a cash offer. Offered by Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh my God!
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget tonight, Monday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys at the Las Vegas Raiders. Coverage starts right after the show. Kickoff is at 7:15. Don't forget to listen if you're out and about for that, as well as don't forget you can call in and be a part of the show today, 850-215-6290. Well, the AP poll has dropped, and, you know, we kind of thought a little bit of, like, for example, last week, and this is probably going to be posed as a question for both of you. When you look at the AP poll, last week's college football playoff poll was pretty much the same. The 6 through 10 was a little different, but nothing big time that was a shocker to me. So, Jeffrey, I'll ask you first. When you look at this AP poll, is there a shock for you that someone's there, or that they're higher than they should be, or lower than you think they really should be? Because there's a few teams in here that I'm just thinking, I don't know if they've made the eye test or not, because that's really what the College Football Playoff Committee said that they're going to start doing, is making, do they pass the eye test?
I mean, no, I think I don't want to say they got it right, because I hate to say that.
I know you've been an AP hater the whole time.
Well, yeah, I have been.
Yeah.
Well, the people who are casting the votes are just imbeciles.
But
Yeah,
they're
they
getting
are
it
imbeciles.
right. They are getting it right.
Before you know it, they'll be
because it's easy.
No, they finally got tired of being yelled at about how stupid they were and what people they're allowing to vote on this thing, and so now they're just asking other people who've done it longer. That is what's happening.
Yeah.
So I actually was surprised that Notre Dame got put behind Oklahoma.
Yeah, that was
a shocker for me, because they were shown so much Notre Dame unwarranted love for so long that I just assumed that they were going to be number 8, and then there goes Oklahoma at 8.
Yeah,
I was shocked.
Well, I mean, that's the area where you can make some argument. I don't think anything's egregious because it's so early.
Yeah,
but Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama is where you could see it. Now, I understand Oklahoma being above Alabama, winning the head-to-head. I think that makes sense. And Notre Dame, Alabama, you can certainly successfully argue Alabama's 2 losses are worse than Notre Dame's 2.
Yes.
I think that's the case, because Florida State is a worse loss than Miami is for them. But who are Notre Dame's big wins? Alabama has some good wins.
It's USC.
It's USC.
Yeah, just one.
So it wouldn't hurt my feeling, and I know I'm an Alabama fan, so take that for whatever. But it wouldn't hurt my feelings if Alabama was ahead of Notre Dame. But I also am not pulling my hair out that they're behind them. I don't think it's that big a thing. Outside of that, It looks right. You could maybe argue Georgia Tech's a little low. Like they should be a little higher. Maybe Michigan and Virginia should be ahead of Texas. If you really want to get into how good is James Madison, North Texas, I don't know. But other than that, it looks pretty spot on. I might, just based on my eye test, I'd have Texas Tech above Oregon, but that's me. I think Texas Tech's better than Oregon. But
wow.
That's me.
Well, and my big thing is, to be honest, with the way Texas played against Georgia, to me, I still think they're a little too high.
Let me clarify. Texas Tech and Oregon are tied. They're tied at 6.
Yeah, they're
right.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't mean to imply they were behind them, but
yeah. But I just think Texas, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just let them stay around. I get it. They've won some games. They've lost some games. But to me, I think they're out now. I think that's it for them.
I agree.
I think they're done. And I still think that 17 is a little high to me. I think Michigan in there, I think they're, down there as well. But
the two teams that we thought were the bottom of the SEC before the season started was Kentucky and Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And did both of them put them in overtime?
Yeah.
They did.
They did.
There you go.
That's why, and that's the eye test part of it. And hopefully, for me, the College Football Playoff Committee will get it right. And I don't think they're going to change anything.
What I don't get is there's a first-place vote for A&M. I just, after this weekend, I don't think you can have a first-place vote for A&M. When there are two other undefeated teams. I know Ohio State hasn't played a ton of great teams. Well, a lot of the reason they
played nobody.
They aren't, but watch them.
Yeah.
Is there anybody you would favor over Ohio State?
Georgia.
I wouldn't.
Georgia. I'd take Georgia.
That's it.
I wouldn't.
Georgia. That's it.
I think Georgia.
Georgia gives them the best game in the country of anybody else, but I wouldn't favor them.
Yeah.
So I don't think A&M should necessarily be getting first place votes. Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Not
You're
now.
Right. Yep.
Not based on what I've seen. And I certainly wouldn't have Indiana getting 8. I just wouldn't.
Wow.
No,
I think Ohio State should be the consensus number 1 right now.
I think they're the number 1 team, and I think until we see a crack in the armor, so to speak, I think they're still there. But to say 2, 3, 4, and 5, we're going to get to see Indiana play Ohio State, so that'll solidify who is what. Now, obviously, they're probably going to play this big close game, and they're going to say, "Oh, they're so good, and then you've got Georgia Tech. They might, have a little wrinkle for Georgia, and they're like, "Well, Georgia's not as good as we think." But
the real thing is, who are the teams in the catbird seat in the SEC and the Big Ten, the way Ohio State was last year? The teams that don't have to go to the championship game and will get that benefit going forward. Right now, it looks like Oregon and either Ole Miss or Georgia, I think, or maybe even Alabama. Whoever doesn't go to the SEC championship or the Big Ten championship but is in the playoffs is in a pretty good spot. Because, you do have your opening round game that very well could be at home, but you're not playing that league championship game. That's one less game. That's the Notre Dame effect that they don't have to play. So watch out for those teams who it looks like will have a championship bye instead of a first round bye.
Well, let's strip it in half.
Yeah.
You ready? 1, 8, 9, and 4, 5 are on one side. Mm-hmm. Right now, that's Ohio State, Georgia, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And Oklahoma's a little bit on the up, they're going up, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. On the other side, the 2, 3, 6, 7, they don't impress me.
Hold on, time out. You just said
2, 3, 6, 7.
You said 6, 7.
6, 7.
Okay.
So
that's for all the young listeners.
Yes, all the young
listeners.
But that right there, 2, 3, 6, 7. It's not nearly impressive.
No, but it's not as unbalanced as last year. Last year's was significantly more.
That's the next question. That's where I wanted to go. The next question. I believe with all my heart that this year's, whether they're better, I'm not saying that, but the parity.
Well,
from 1 to 6 to 7 to me is way tougher. I could see any of those teams winning.
I think it was just as tough last year. I think what was different about last year was the lock-ins at 3 and 4 with the conference chip. That's what skewed it. So teams that this year maybe 10, 11, 12 2 of them were getting 3s and 4s last year. Now, Arizona State ended up being a pretty solid football team. But who was the other one that everybody was freaking out about?
Boise, and you had Clemson
dropping
as well.
in there. But Clemson was further down. They were actually the 5th of the 4. So Boise and Arizona State ended up being 3 and 4, whereas this year, teams of that level are probably going to be 9 to 11, somewhere in there.
And they should be.
Texas Tech is only the Arizona State of last year.
Yeah, but
because before that, we were all looking at undefeated BYU.
But what I'm saying is Texas Tech is not going to automatically be a 3 or a 4 because they're a conference champion. They very well may be a 6. And that's what is different. That's what skewed last year so bad, was those 2 teams being up in that upper echelon.
So if they're the 6 and the 2-3 is Indiana and Texas A&M, you can see how the weakness is. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the top 3 teams on your side of the bracket? Come on.
The irony is it'll probably be 2-3, but let's say A&M wins the SEC and Indiana gets beat to Ohio State. It may just be 2-3 the other way.
Yeah. Whoever wins that game, if they do have a bearing on what they're going to put them in as far as the ranking goes, that'll be...
Here'd be the crazy thing. Imagine a scenario where somehow Georgia doesn't play for the SEC championship, wins out, is a number 4 seed at the end of the year, so gets a first-round bye, but also has the bye of the championship game. Yeah. That would be crazy. They'd have 2 less games.
They'd have 2 less games, and then again, that side of the bracket could be way weaker, too, as far as... But
there's so many things that could play out, but, I mean, there are scenarios by which that could happen where they actually get to. It's the Notre Dame scenario they won't have this year.
Or Georgia loses the Texas A&M in the SEC championship, and Ole Miss gets the 4.
Could be.
And they've got the bye off of the conference championship and the bye in the playoffs.
This year's SEC teams, to me, seem like they have a difference of matching up with teams better than they do actually just being a better team than. Hence, Alabama beating Georgia. Whether they could beat them again, I don't know. Whether they swapped places with Oklahoma and played the Oklahoma at the beginning of the year compared to playing Oklahoma now, that all is something to be said. But if you look at it, when you see an Alabama team lining up playing Georgia, this is 2 years in a row that they've been able to match up with Georgia and play them better and beat them twice. Then you look at like Oklahoma, they match up seemingly looking like right now against Alabama and Caleb DeBauer and those guys. So that's how it works.
But the hard part is we all have recency bias on this because right now we're looking at the teams that are playing hot right now. Right now we think Georgia's unbeatable, and I understand that. I'm watching them too. The national champions last year was who? Ohio State. Mm-hmm. What did they do 2 weeks from now last year? They got beat by Michigan.
Yeah.
So it's not as it's almost to say you don't want to be peaking too early.
True.
So, I mean, yeah, a good football team's a good football team, but we don't know yet who's going to be hot for the playoff run because it's a long way out.
It is a ways ago.
We're more than 2 months from deciding this thing.
Right. And, I mean, we can all talk about what looks good and what on paper, but when you look at, I think this week will be what it's going to be. It's going to be the weaker games. There will be some games that might happen, some things, but the rivalry week the following week is going to be, which you alluded to it earlier.
A lot of big games.
It's a lot of big games. It's going to be big-time chaos. It's going to be playoff implications for a bunch of teams. You know, and it would not surprise me. You know, we've talked about how good Texas A&M's been. They seem to have a little bit of a problem this weekend. Who's to say Texas isn't going to pull the upset right there? And then you got Alabama going to Jordan-Hare. I hate that matchup anyway. At Jordan-Hare at night. They didn't announce that it was going to be at night. So that's terrible for Alabama.
So what did I say about Bama last week? They took their foot off the pedal on offense after the third quarter, right? You know how long Bama did not score in this last game? It was 7 minutes and 20-something seconds left in the third quarter. They didn't score for they were just a few seconds short of a whole quarter and a half of not scoring. They took the foot off the pedal. Are they just playing 3 quarters? Paul, you tell me.
It looks like it because the fourth quarter, produced nothing. No results.
I think when you're behind and you've established you don't have a running game, the defense can prepare for you slightly different than they can early in the game when you do have multiple things you can do. They had to throw the ball at the end of that game.
Yeah, it became one-dimensional right there.
And you take a guy like Brent Venables, he just starts,
licks his chops.
Yeah. So
you cannot be one-dimensional.
There's really only, I think there's 3 ranked versus ranked games this week, but the big ones, USC, Oregon, and then Pitt, Georgia Tech. Those are the 2 games that matter this week.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, we did it. We finished the day. We're so glad that you joined us. Don't forget, you can always rewatch us on Facebook or YouTube. Go back and take a look, see what you think, and call us the next day. But either way, have a great Monday. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Lane Kiffin to the Titans.
Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Monday. Mostly clear skies tonight with a light breeze coming out of the east around 5 miles per hour, and look for the low to be 58. Tomorrow morning, there will be sunshine with the temperature reaching 73. Clear in the afternoon and evening with a high of 75. Wednesday will have a high of 76 and mostly sunshine. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
When it comes to building smart and roofing right, TK Vandy's is the name you can trust. They're your go-to for general contracting, design, build solutions, and top quality roofing. From concept to completion, they deliver excellence on time and on budget. Whether it's a custom build or a complex renovation, they've got you covered, literally. Call TK Vandy today and build something better together. TK Vandy, built with purpose, roofed with pride.
Hiller's here, you don't need to worry. If you're stuck without any heat, we'll be there in a hurry. Hiller's here to help you right away. We'll be there to fix you up, call a Happy Face Truck today. Yes, Hiller's here, so never fear, call a Happy Face Truck today. Hiller!
Happy holidays from the Hiller family. Take advantage of our current specials and deals at happyhiller.com.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Your home to the NFL. Listen to the biggest games in ultra-high fidelity. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Following is a presentation of Westwood One Sports. If it's Monday night, the NFL is on. Westwood One.
He digs, he turns, he dives! It is a touchdown! It is a touchdown!
And this is the Monday Night Football pregame show with Mike Golick Sr.
As a former defensive lineman, now I wasn't normally on the field during pass rushing, but I would watch as the pass rushers were out there.
And Mike Golick Jr.
I'm like you, Dad. I'm an old-timer with this. I want to be able to hold it in my hands. I want the sticker.
They'll react to Sunday's biggest moments.
Snap is back. Hold is good. Sweep to the right leg. Cairo Santos is up. It's good! Good! Good from 48! Cairo Santos Bob on the Viking logo. Bears win it.
And get you
the snap. Prescott back. Looks left. Throws left. Caught by Pickens. Turns back inside 15. Down to the 10. Inside the 5. To the end zone. Touchdown.